My first act after being reborn was to skip classes like crazy and train my body. Even when teachers warned me that I'd fail my courses, even when my girlfriend Lily Lou broke up with me, I didn't care at all. Because unlike everyone else, I knew what was coming. In just 1 month, devil fruits would begin appearing all over the world. Anyone who obtained one would gain extraordinary powers. In my previous life, I managed to obtain a supernatural ability, but my devil fruit was weak and my physical condition wasn't much better. In the end, I died miserably in a zombie horde. Now that I had been reborn, I was going to use my knowledge of the future to seize every opportunity possible. As far as I knew, there was a devil fruit nearby. It was inside a fruit shop next to the university. The store had a rather unusual name, Too Beautiful to Guide You. However, I didn't know exactly when the fruit would appear, so every day I bought some fruit there while secretly checking whether the devil fruit had emerged. But today, as usual, I wandered into the pineapple section. Then 2 short green stems instantly caught my attention. I pushed aside the pile of pineapples covering them. The fruit hidden beneath was finally revealed. That's right, exactly the same as in my memories. This was the devil fruit belonging to the 4 emperors Kaido, the azure dragon fruit. Suppressing my racing heartbeat, I quickly paid for everything. To avoid attracting attention, I bought a bag of normal fruit as cover. The moment I stepped out of the store, I nearly bumped into a heavily built middle-aged man. It was none other than the future owner of the azure dragon fruit from my previous life. I secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Had I arrived even a minute later, the fruit would have become his. After returning to my dormitory, I didn't hesitate. I picked up the azure dragon fruit and took a huge bite. The taste was indescribably disgusting. It was like mixing sewage and a septic tank together, then washing a moldy rag inside it and stuffing the whole thing into your mouth. The nausea nearly made me vomit on the spot, but I forced myself to swallow. Then, with sheer determination, I devoured the remaining flesh, peel, core, and even the short purple stem. A long time later, I finally let out a deep breath. The seed of a miracle had been planted. All that remained was to wait. Afterward, I pulled out my phone. I spent the afternoon scrolling through short video apps and forums. Eventually, I entered a specific username into the search bar. Opening the first video, I heard a young man say, "Guys, look at this. This is the Rumble fruit. I'm auctioning it off in the comment section." The moment I saw it, my heart skipped a beat. Although I'd already eaten the azure dragon fruit and couldn't eat another one, once the apocalypse arrived and people learned the true value of devil fruits, no amount of money would be enough to buy one. They would become the most important trading resource in the world. Even if I didn't use it for trading, I could give it to mom, dad, or my younger sister. Besides, it wasn't completely impossible to eat a second devil fruit. It just required both strength and luck. Rather than commenting publicly, I sent the seller a private message. "Bro, that's a pretty good replica. It looks exactly like the real thing. I'll take it. You know the people in the comments are just messing around. Name a reasonable price and I'll buy it immediately." The seller replied, "Bro, this is a real devil fruit. If it's real, why don't you eat it yourself? If you're serious about selling, give me a normal price. Otherwise, I'm blocking you. 100,000, 1,000. What? $1,000. For a replica with this level of detail, that's already the highest I'll go." The blonde-haired seller felt disappointed. He had hoped to scam more money. Still, $1,000 wasn't bad. It was enough for him to have fun for a while. "Deal. Send the money and I'll ship it." I laughed. "What if I pay and you don't send it?" "Give me your address. I'll come buy it in person." The blonde guy paused. After thinking about it, he agreed. This was his hometown. If I tried to cheat him, one phone call would bring his friends running. Soon I had the address. 2.5 hours later, I arrived at the county bus station he mentioned. "You're the guy selling the devil fruit? Give me your payment code. I'll scan it after checking the fruit." The blonde guy frowned. "What, you think I'm gonna scam you? This is your territory. I'm sure you've got plenty of friends around here." After a moment of thought, he nodded. Fair enough. If I refused to pay, his friends could surround me instantly. He handed over the bag. My hands trembled as I pulled the fruit out. My heartbeat thundered in my chest. No mistake, this one was real. Without another word, I transferred the $1,000. Then I tucked the fruit away and immediately left. If transportation in this area hadn't been so terrible, I would have gone straight home. On the journey back, I opened a short video app. Suddenly, a news report caught my attention. Recently, many patients have suddenly fallen unconscious. In addition, unusual spots have appeared on their bodies. Experts believe this may be a new strain of influenza. Citizens are advised to wear masks and take precautions. The moment I heard those words, my heart sank. Comas, strange spots. These were exactly the signs that had appeared before the apocalypse in my previous life. Without hesitation, I sprinted back to my dorm. I grabbed the luggage I'd prepared long ago and rushed toward the exit. Then suddenly, a scream echoed behind me. Students began collapsing everywhere. Dark spots appeared across their skin. An invisible pressure filled the air. Everyone was forced to the ground. Then those who had completely fallen unconscious suddenly twitched. Their eyeballs bulged. Their fingernails elongated into sharp claws. One after another, they transformed into zombies. The creatures burst from dorm rooms, sending countless students fleeing in terror. At that very moment, I felt a powerful force awakening deep within my bloodline, the power of the azure dragon. Throwing my head back, I released a thunderous roar. Blue dragon scales appeared across my skin. Dragon horns emerged from my forehead. My hands transformed into claws. My entire body began changing. The students around me were horrified. To them, I looked no different from the monsters. But unlike the zombies, I retained my mind. After entering my human beast form, every aspect of my body improved dramatically. Strength, defense, speed, recovery, everything increased. Just then, two zombies lunged toward me. I swung my dragon claws. They were sent flying instantly. Another zombie charged from a nearby room. I opened my mouth and exhaled a stream of blazing heat. The flames instantly reduced it to ashes. However, after that single attack, I felt my stamina drop noticeably. The true fuel of devil fruit abilities was physical endurance. Even in the future, when hockey became widespread, everything would still depend on stamina. At this stage, my body was my biggest weakness. I wasn't Kaido. I didn't possess his monstrous physique. Even with the Azure Dragon Fruit, I couldn't unleash its true power. Fortunately, I had a solution. I raised the customized baseball bat I'd specially ordered. It was thicker and heavier than normal, perfect for smashing zombie skulls. Electricity crackled around the bat. The Azure Dragon Fruit could manipulate wind, fire, and lightning. Its elemental power wasn't as overwhelming as a Logia fruit, but it was more than enough to enhance attacks. I carved a path through the hallway. Zombie after zombie fell beneath my bat. Soon, other students noticed me. Because I kept killing zombies non-stop, they finally had room to breathe. My lightning-covered bat felt like Kaido's Thunder Bagua.
Almost every zombie died in a single strike, yet I wasn't enjoying the slaughter. While fighting, I continued charging downstairs. I had two goals. First, get home. This time, I wouldn't allow my parents and sister to suffer. Second, kill 100 zombies as quickly as possible, because once a single person killed 100 zombies, the divine space would open. At that point, I could exchange points for training methods of the 3 types of hockey and rapidly strengthen myself. The Azure Dragon could fly, but with my current stamina, there was no way I could fly all the way home. Swinging my bat, I charged forward like a dragon war god. A huge crowd of students followed behind me. They thought leaving the dormitory was the safest option. What they didn't know was, there was no safe place left in the apocalypse. Locking yourself inside a room would actually keep you alive longer. After reaching the ground floor, I narrowed my eyes. The scene outside was horrifying. The university had been built on top of an ancient mass grave. Local legends claimed the area was filled with sinister energy. Years ago, residents living nearby constantly fell ill. Eventually, a feng shui master suggested building a school there. The vitality of young students would suppress the dark energy. Now, however, the countless skeletons buried beneath the earth had risen. Infected by the zombie virus, they clawed their way to the surface. Every living person became their target. The entire campus descended into chaos. People ran in every direction. Panic spread everywhere, but I ignored them. I fixed my eyes on the school gate and charged forward. Whether zombie or skeleton, everything exploded beneath my bat. Finally, just as I reached the entrance, the world froze. Not only me, everyone, humans, zombies, everything stopped. It was as if time itself had been paused. Then darkness swallowed my vision. The first divine descent has begun. Divine space activated. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself standing inside a strange and mysterious realm. There was no sky, no ground, no concept of time or space. Only countless floating lights surrounded me. A cold, mechanical voice echoed throughout the void. The first divine descent has begun. Divine space activated. Points may be exchanged for corresponding items. Techniques, equipment, weapons, and special resources are available. Then another notification appeared. Congratulations, you are the first person to reach 100 points by killing zombies. Special divine reward granted, the voice continued. Because you reached 100 points within the first 10 minutes after the apocalypse began, the reward quality has been upgraded. Choose one of the following rewards. I froze in place. This wasn't something I had experienced in my previous life. 3 rewards appeared before me. Reward 1, Perfect Devil Fruit. Completely perfects your current Azure Dragon Fruit. All side effects are permanently removed. After the side effects are removed, Sea Stone no longer weakens you. Seawater no longer suppresses your abilities. You may consume a second Devil Fruit without your body exploding. Reward 2, Hockey Prodigy. No points required. No training required. Immediately awaken all 3 forms of hockey. Even without active training, all 3 forms will continue growing slowly over time. If trained actively, growth speed increases by 50%. Reward 3, Zombie Slaying Divine Weapon. Receive a custom weapon of your choice. The weapon will be supreme grade quality. Damage against zombies is doubled. I stared at the 3 rewards. The first and third could immediately increase my combat power. The second would improve me more slowly, but its potential was far greater. From my experience in my previous life, even after the second divine descent, hockey had never become obsolete. As I hesitated, I suddenly remembered the words of a certain legendary pirate. Hockey is the true foundation of strength. Roger possessed no devil fruit. Shanks possessed no devil fruit, yet they stood at the pinnacle of the world. Even Kaido himself had repeatedly emphasized the importance of hockey. A devil fruit's power ultimately depended on the user, and a person's body was the foundation of everything. My mind immediately cleared. I made my decision. I choose reward 2. The moment the choice was made, a powerful force surged through my body. Something deep within me awakened. A black aura wrapped around my fist. Armament hockey. At the same time, a strange perception spread outward. Everything around me became incredibly clear. Observation hockey. A domineering pressure then erupted from my body. Conqueror's hockey. But I knew better. There was no safe place left in the world. The apocalypse had already spread everywhere. The radio inside the vehicle continued broadcasting emergency announcements. Attention citizens, please remain calm. Stay indoors and secure all doors and windows. Our military forces have already been mobilized. Our laboratories are working on treatments. Please maintain order. Listening to the broadcast, I couldn't help shaking my head. The first wave of the zombie virus had spread through the air. People with weak constitutions were especially vulnerable. Hospitals and nursing homes had become disaster zones almost immediately. Later, however, transmission would primarily occur through blood and bodily fluids. At the beginning, the military still retained significant combat effectiveness. Soldiers possessed stronger physiques and were less susceptible to infection. But I knew this advantage
wouldn't last. The military's greatest strength was firearms, yet firearms created a major problem. They couldn't efficiently earn points. Without points, people couldn't grow stronger, and while humanity remained stagnant, the zombies continued evolving. Eventually, ordinary firearms would become increasingly ineffective. Once that happened, society's collapse would accelerate dramatically. The only true hope for humanity was for ordinary people to fight, to kill, to earn points, to become stronger. The apocalypse was not merely a disaster. It was a brutal survival competition. A world where the strong survived and the weak were eliminated. As the vehicle sped down the highway, I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. Even when zombies appeared ahead, I simply rammed straight through them. Then suddenly, my phone rang. I immediately answered. A familiar voice filled my ears. It was my younger sister. Her voice trembled with fear. "Big brother, where are you? There are so many zombies outside. It's terrifying." "I'm okay. How are you? Are mom and dad all right?" "Mom listened to you and took leave from work early. She picked me up and brought me home. Dad is still at the hospital. He said he locked himself inside his office, so he's safe." "Bro, you're seriously amazing. If you hadn't insisted that mom take the day off, we'd probably be dead outside right now." For the past month, Ethan's family had been confused. Every day he kept sending huge amounts of supplies home. Whenever they asked why, he refused to explain. They also had no idea where he had gotten so much money. Of course, I didn't actually have any money. 1 month wasn't enough time to earn that much. But with the apocalypse about to arrive, what was there to be afraid of? I borrowed money from every platform I could find. If I didn't have to explain it to my parents, I probably would have even mortgaged the house. Still, with the Divine Shrine space, there wasn't really a need to store excessive supplies. These were only emergency reserves. While we were talking, a luxury car ahead suddenly flipped over while trying to avoid a zombie that had lunged into the road. The crash instantly triggered a massive chain reaction accident. Vehicle after vehicle slammed into each other. Many were destroyed and many people died on the spot. I had already predicted this would happen. By now, it was far too late to stop the car. I grabbed my backpack and baseball bat. Then I transformed directly into an azure dragon. Bursting through the roof of the vehicle, I soared into the sky. Clouds carried my body upward. The azure dragon rose higher and higher. The incredible sight stunned everyone on the road below. The already chaotic accident became even worse because of it. I had no time to care about the noisy disaster beneath me. Diving into the clouds, I flew in a straight line toward my home. From time to time, I pulled pieces of hydration meat from my backpack to replenish my stamina. At my current level, I couldn't stay airborne for very long. Finally, after consuming all of the hydration meat, I descended from the sky and returned to my human form. I quickly scanned the area. Fortunately, there were no zombies nearby. I immediately entered the Divine Shrine space. There, I exchanged for 5 more pieces of hydration meat and stuffed them into my backpack. At the moment, the backpack contained only those 5 pieces of hydration meat and a rumble fruit. After eating another piece of hydration meat, I chose not to take flight again. Although it could restore stamina, relying on it continuously would make my energy drain faster and faster.
And it couldn't restore mental fatigue. Opening the map, I took a look. Right now, I needed to find a highway and get myself a vehicle. After determining the direction, I transformed into the Azure Dragon once more. This time, I flew for only 10 minutes before spotting a highway below. Countless vehicles were speeding along it. What I needed was a sturdy off-road SUV. Among the traffic below, many people noticed the Azure Dragon flying through the sky. Someone immediately recorded the scene with a phone and uploaded it to the communication channel inside the Divine Shrine space. "Guys, I just saw a dragon, a huge Azure Dragon. It had to be almost 30 feet long. That Azure Dragon must be from the Azure Dragon fruit. I wonder who got lucky enough to obtain such a powerful mythical zone. I once got a rumble fruit, but I thought it was fake, so I sold it. A real devil fruit? And a rare Logia type rumble fruit at that? I sold it for only $1,000. The blonde-haired guy now wanted to slap himself to death. Above the interstate stretching from North Province to Jade Province, I continued flying in my Azure Dragon form. Eventually, I spotted an extremely durable-looking off-road SUV. I was about to descend and hitch a ride, but then from the corner of my eye, I noticed a faint glow flickering from a large tree beside the highway. A trace of excitement surged through me. I immediately flew toward the tree. As I drew closer, my dragon eyes widened. The heavens were truly helping me. At the top of a poplar tree that normally never bore fruit, hidden among the dense leaves, hung a single fruit. The fruit resembled an ear of corn. Its entire body was golden yellow and covered with white spiral patterns. It was a fruit I had never seen before, but that was perfectly normal. The devil fruits that appeared during the apocalypse far exceeded those shown in the manga. There were only a few dozen in the original story, yet according to the information hidden deep within my subconscious, there were tens of thousands of different fruits in existence, and this was one of them.